I'm Reverend Gregory Toole, and we just turn within to remember in this moment who we are and what this life is that we are living, that this life is divine and sacred, that there is just one life, that all of life is one infinite wholeness, perfection, and divinity. That all of life, there's this infinite intelligence and wisdom and presence and power, and it's all one. It's all one. And this oneness that is God, this oneness that is divine, is the very life that is living through and as me. And not only that, it is the very life that is living through and as every person I meet and greet. It is the life of each person here. Each one is a divine expression of that one. Each person who is watching and listening online is a divine expression of that one life, a perfect individualized expression of that one life that is God, that is good. And so it is in this awareness that I speak my word this morning. I declare and know that this service is also a divine emanation of that one life, of that one divine wisdom, that one divine love. I know that our speaker, Reverend Katherine McKinney, is divinely guided, divinely inspired, that she is a divine emanation of that one, and that the words that proceed from her mouth are the very words that each one of us needs to hear, and each one of us hears it in exactly the way we need to hear it, and so that each one is lifted up and inspired, and each one gets a gift, and each one brings a gift, the gift of their presence, the gift of their space that is an expression of the divine, of God. So I bless this unfolding here today, knowing it is just so perfect, so sweet. I am grateful, and I let it be. I release this word to that immutable law, that creative medium that only knows to say yes. It just seizes upon my word and brings it forth. Therefore, I know it is done as I have declared. I let it be. We establish it together with the words, and so it is. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. This mic seems really powerful here. So, as we always do, we have a few announcements. We have so many good things going on here at the center that I really encourage you to go out there to the table and look at all the flyers and pay attention to your weekly e-bulletin and pay attention to the Spirit Speaks magazine that comes out every 2 months, because we can't possibly tell you up here in the announcements everything is going on, because it would take too long. That's how abundant we are. So pay attention to those things, but I do want to highlight a few things here today after I put my reading glasses on. All right, so a big thank you to Elaine Yuzuki, Candy Kavanaugh, and Lori Beretta and the Women's Circle for this Christmas fundraiser luncheon that we had last Sunday. It was so successful. I was so impressed with that. So many great gifts and food and all kinds of good stuff. So thank you to everyone involved with that. This coming Sunday, for just 30 minutes after the fellowship time, we're going to have a brief tango demonstration. It'll just be 30 minutes. It's just for fun. One of our members attends with this teacher, Daniel Ledesma, who will come for us. There's no cost. So if you've ever been curious about tango, just come and you can participate, you can observe, you can do it however you like. Poinsettias. We're going to fill this whole stage with poinsettias, and you get the opportunity to buy a poinsettia for yourself, as well as to dedicate it to someone you love. It could be a memory. It could just be someone you want to celebrate, and we'll put all the names of the people that you're dedicating it to on a board out in the foyer, which already is out there. You'll start to see some of the names being put up already, and you get to take your poinsettia home after the Christmas Eve service. So we welcome you to purchase those at the front desk. Our grief support group is meeting this evening 5 to 7 p.m. This is our second meeting, and we encourage you to come tonight because we're going to close the group for the next 6 weeks or so because we're going to go through a structured process. And if you still want to get in, just reach out to me and we can, figure that out. But we are going to close the group, and after we close the group, if you are dealing with grief, you can still set up an appointment with me and you will get support. We're not closing off the support, just closing off this particular group. There's flyers out in the foyer for the holiday concert as well as our first vegan potluck. Vegan potluck is next week. And also our ecstatic dance is this Thursday, December 12th from 6 to 8 p.m. So tomorrow, tomorrow is our ecstatic dance. We're now offering, as many of you participated today, we're offering meditation at 10:30 till 10:45 on Wednesdays and Sundays, so before the service. So join us for that. How many were here for the meditation today? Did you enjoy it? Excellent, excellent. And let's see, mark your calendars, which actually it's getting beyond a mark your calendar. It's getting close. Christmas Eve, Tuesday, December 24th, 6 p.m., we're going to have a really beautiful candlelight service here. We're going to have great Christmas music. The choir's going to sing. We're going to invite you to sing Christmas carols with us. We're going to do like a little candle lighting ceremony. It's going to be beautiful. We have childcare available for it as well. So I hope all of you will join us for that on Christmas Eve. I love Christmas Eve candlelight services. I mean, what better way to spend Christmas Eve than in community and in a sacred space and singing beautiful songs. As you've noticed, our main door is not available at the moment, so we're inviting people to come in through the entrance on Nob Hill or through Richelieu Hall. And also, we just invite you to remember our food table for the greater community so that no one goes hungry during these holidays. So if you can bring a can with you and put it on the table, that will support a family in need and make sure they have food in their belly during the holidays. And lastly, but not least, of course, a big thank you to all of our wonderful Sacred Service volunteers. We could not do it without you, but we are doing it with you. Thank you so much. Well, are you ready to be inspired? All right, Reverend Katherine is ready to be that vessel in that vehicle through which good stuff happens. Reverend Katherine McKinney.
Good morning, everyone, and I don't want you to be suspended in suspense here, but this is my warm thing. I put it in the microwave. It's got something inside that helps me warm it up, and my hands get warm, and it just helps me for a moment to stay warm in my hands. So here we go. Today, I have organized my talk and my presentation around the word cornucopia. And how I got to this place is just fascinating to me. And I hope I can make it at least interesting to you. This is part of the Instagram poster that Tracy McKenna created to go on Instagram. And I want to just hold it up there for a minute. And you see that cornucopia is actually at the bottom. And I want you to try to feel the sense of what that is. Cornucopia means horn of plenty. And of course, the straw thing there is the horn, but they're made of many things. And the plenty in traditional symbolism is abundance and nourishment. So it's food that comes out. So it's abundance and there's plenty of it, but there's nourishment. And in classical antiquity, and that's how far this symbol goes back, it is represented in paintings, these bucolic settings and landscapes that were so popular, a long time ago. Rubens, for example, these nymphs in the wood, and they've got cornucopia and little cherubs and maybe even some wings on people. It was just that classical antiquity that cornucopia became this symbol of abundance. Now, in New Thought, we think of it as prosperity and abundance. And it symbolizes that for me in a big way. And it's partly because decades ago, I was singing in a choir that I don't really belong to. I was subbing for someone else in New Orleans, Louisiana, at Trinity Episcopal Church.
Hey, Katherine, your earrings are clanging against the microphone. It sounds like
Is
a
it
woodpecker.
not working?
I'm sorry. No, your earrings are hitting the side of it, so we hear like a clanging noise from your earrings.
Oh, the earring is banging. Is that what it is? Should I just
Yeah.
take it off? That's easy. Some things are easy. So I was in this church, and it was for a Thanksgiving service. Now, Trinity Episcopal is a cathedral. It's this magnificent place. And when I came in early to rehearse with the choir and sang in a choir loft, and they had decorated the altar railing all the way across. It's a big, big place. It's at least 50 feet long, maybe longer. And it had you can bring it back up if you will. I'd like to leave it up just a bit. It had all kinds of fresh food. Everything was laden for that whole 50 feet, with periodically it was placed those horns of plenty. I have never forgotten that. It's just, I don't remember what was said that night, I don't remember what we sang, but that left such a memory for me. So the word cornucopia and the concept of cornucopia is just planted back there somewhere. And so the next thing that happened is that on Sunday, Reverend Gregory, I'll tell you when to take it away. And Reverend Gregory was talking about a number of things, not cornucopia, but during his talk, what just popped into my brain, just like on the old Groucho Marx thing, say the secret word and that you win a prize, that just popped in cornucopia. And I wasn't even sure why, except this concept of abundance and so much plenty was coming in. And so as he was beginning his talk, and he talked about a number of stories, and he had several examples that he used, and I was resonating with the examples, not in a negative way, but what I realized is how many experiences I had had recently and going back in the year that were gifts. There was these blessings that had come in the way that he was talking about. He was saying, remember at the beginning, he was saying that he reminded everyone that he had talked about beginning your day with the 2-minute presence or meditation or spiritual practice. And you first start with just being open to that higher consciousness, and then you declare in the second minute what it is that you want. Well, I do that probably most days, but my real spiritual practice is a little bit later after I'm dressed and I'm in my chair. And that's when I really do those things. And what I realize, all of this helps me realize that in the last year, maybe longer, maybe years longer, but especially this year, I have made a concerted effort to, in my own consciousness, to lift that concept that everything that happens to me is part of my direct order to my own life, even if I don't like it. And recognizing that sooner rather than later. But what happened in the talk is that I recognized some wonderful things that happened that could have been negative, but I had planted the seed. And that's when I realized that 2024 was a year of joy. And so that's how I came here. Thank you very much for sharing for this slide. So one of the things that I understand about how consciousness works is that we are always governed by what's going on in our mind. And what, as coincidence or as synchronicity would happen, in the quantum healing book reading we had this morning, they're actually talking about the fact that at certain times of awareness, the veil gets to be very thin, and I'm using my words to describe what the scientists said, veil between what we're thinking and what we're allowing to come in. And I almost laughed out loud when we were reading those words, because on Sunday, when this happened, and I'm only saying this to explain why the veil was probably quite thin, by the time I was here at this church, I had been back from my cruise, my cross country, and all of that about 12 hours. I don't want to say that I was tired so much as I know that I was open, because there wasn't, I'm just processing. I didn't know what to call it, but I sat there listening, and it was coming to me in a way that I don't know would have happened otherwise. But you see, it's all a culmination of the spiritual practice. And what the talk and the words in the talk helped me to realize the connection. One of the examples that he was giving is that about going home for holidays, and maybe this was Thanksgiving or Christmas coming, and he talked about, you can't control what Uncle Joe says, or Aunt Sally, or anyone else. All you can really control is your own reaction. And so that's one of the memories that was strongly triggered in me. And not because of what happened this recent time, but what happened a long time ago. It was a Christmas celebration with my family, my birth family, and we were all sitting down to dinner. And one of my brothers said to me, it was his house, and so he said, because I'm a minister, he said, would you do the prayer? Well, I did a real Science of Mind prayer. I did, and I dressed it up a little bit because nobody else is that, but I did those things. And so I, barely said amen or whatever I said, and he looked at me with this look in his face. He says, where's the baby Jesus in all of this? Well, I think I stumbled through an answer, but I'm not sure. He didn't care anyway. He needed to say that for whatever reason. Well, I've kind of forgotten about it. I mean, obviously I haven't, but I don't think about it so much. It's pre-pandemic, so it's been a few. Well, on October, when we were visiting in Alabama, we had the occasion to go to his brand new house. And I didn't plan this, but I just wanted to have lunch with my brothers and the family as much when we're going through. That's all I asked for. He says, oh, why don't you come to our new beach house? And I went, oh my gosh, I'd love to see that. He's built this brand new beach house. And if you're thinking cabin by a lake, we're talking mansion by the lake. It's like, it was stunning. And so the entire time I was there were the views of the lake itself. This is Lake Martin in the middle of Alabama. Looking at the views, the house itself, it was absolutely gorgeous. I was just basking in the beauty and the comfort of everything. And so when we sat down to whatever meal we were doing, we were about to do this, my brother said, would you like to do the prayer? I didn't even think about what I was going to do. I didn't remember the other thing. What I said was, well, I'd really like to do the prayer my family and I do as we eat our dinner. Thank you for the world so sweet. Thank you for the food we eat. Thank you for the birds that sing. And thank you, God, for everything. And when I looked up, the look of surprise on his face, I don't know what he was expecting, but it wasn't that. And it flowed through me. See, this is what we're talking about with spiritual practice and getting rid of all of those negative feelings and letting it go. Do not care what they think. Allow you to be you. I look back to that time in October and I went, that's how that happens. So that's the cornucopia that I'm talking about. That's that life just flowing with the infinite goodness, the infinite good that Spirit promises us when we just get out of the way. Well, at another visit, another time, a different relative, I had a random occasion that just happened. And again, I remembered it Sunday. This is a relative that I've really never been close to. I've always felt this. With both of my brothers, who are married to women who have a bunch of sisters, I'm just the sister-in-law. I've never been with that, in that family. They've not accepted me that way, so it's always been like that. I'm not troubled by it. They have their own sisters. I have no sisters, so I don't know what that's like. But it's always been okay. But I've come to expect that that's the way it is. With this particular sister-in-law, has really gone through a lot in the last 2 years, emotionally. A lot. And I can't, we happened to be seated. We weren't having a conversation, except that we were both in the same room, the kitchen in this mansion, and we were just sitting there. And so I looked at her and said, I can't imagine what you've been going through, but how are you feeling right now? She's sobbing, and she's talking about how hard it has been for her. And I don't even remember all the things I said. I certainly didn't tell her anything to do, but I was being supportive. But the fact that it happened, I attribute that to the healing of something that happened a long time ago. It's moved away. We see each other in a different light. And of course, it's nothing that they've done. That's the way I'm looking at it. The change has to be in me. And so when all of us want a different outcome with anyone else, who is the only one we can change? It is ourselves. And so I'm reinforcing what Reverend Gregory was saying from a very personal viewpoint. But another thing that I would add as part of this whole cornucopia of giving, this year, 2024, I decided at the end of 2023 that my word for the year, I know that Ruthie has a word for the year, some of the rest of you may too. My word was generosity, and I've mentioned that at other talks. And it's been a generator of so much joy, much more so. I mean, yes, everything that we give and all that we do comes back to us, pressed down and overflowing. That's what the scripture says. And I have copious blessings. And that is true. But what I'm remembering is the joy, the sheer joy of when generosity means that you're giving more than is expected. It's not the amount, it's not the idea, it's not the thing you say, but if you have this attitude of generosity, you're giving more than is expected. And that is received in a way that's out of proportion to the amount or what was done. And so I do feel like that has contributed more than anything else to my joy. That's partly, again, why this in 2024, especially as I reviewed it and through the lens of the talk, through the lens of the concept of cornucopia, horn of plenty, I believe that it has been a year of joy, no matter what else has happened. And so that is a gift. And the idea that we can generate our own life. We all know that, right? We know those words. We understand that concept. We've had classes, we've listened to talks. But to continue to practice the principles and putting those principles into practice, and there's a practice, and there's the qualities of God that we seek to embody. All of those, that's what prosperity is. That's what abundance is, a quality of God. We can express those in ways that just let Spirit flow through us. And I've got to tell you, when I say in my morning meditation, show me the temptation of appearances, oh my God, Spirit, I feel like you talk about abundance. I mean, I get shown how I am allowing myself to dive into appearances as opposed to. So at one point, I was thinking I could call this cornucopia with all these warnings, but I could also mention that occasionally it feels like an avalanche. But I understand. I do understand. And so I just take a deep breath and know that we're all on this journey together. I very much appreciate the fact that all of you all are here, that you're not just here in this moment, but that you're here at this center. We are doing wonderful things here. And the ways that we help it to grow increase as we contribute to that. Joel Goldsmith said something like, to really live, we must contribute. To really live, we must add to the sum of the total good we give to the world. And I believe that. And so with that idea, let us all give more of ourselves in ways large and small. Let us give more of whatever it is that we have in abundance that we can share. Because from that comes this divine joy that cannot be gotten any other way. And I thank you for being here. And say, and so it is. Okay, Miss Ruthie, we're going to give everyone a chance to share their envelopes, their abundance, and so we're ready to do our words. I know what they are. Oh, and we also have these other ways. How many of you all have tried any of those ways? Taken a picture or done any of those? I keep meaning to do it. By the time I think about it, I can't get my phone out fast enough. I want to do that, just to try each one of them, just to see. But it's cool the way they work. The QR code is really cool. So let us just say our affirmation. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. So we are at that time in our service where we share something. We may ask for a prayer request, or you just may sit and enjoy the moment. What is it? Mr. Dave. Here comes Vincent with the handy dandy mic.
Thank you. I can't believe you just did a service on cornucopia, because my friend passed away 7 years ago during this month. He's been coming in my dreams and so forth. He was a chef for the Stars for private parties. He was an extraordinary person. His nickname was Cornucopia.
Yeah, I love that, David. Thank you. Well, it is, like I said, say the secret word. And
I can't believe it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Anyone else have a little nugget? That was cool. You all are so wonderful. You really, really are. I appreciate the audience. I appreciate your time and energy that you put into yourself as well as this center. So let's all go forth and enjoy December. I mean, it's a great month. And I just got back to December, so I thank you. So have a good Wednesday.